What's up, YouTube? We are back with another haircut tutorial. Today I'm going to be cutting my boy. So what we're going to be doing is a mid taper. So what you want to do before you start to blend out the hair, you want to start out with combing the hair, just making sure all the hairs are laid down. So what I'm doing to start out my blend is I am using my trimmer, and then I am creating a curved line almost to the top of the ear, and then I will flip the trimmer over and then go ahead and get rid of those hairs. So I'm just starting with my first guideline with my trimmer again, and then creating a curved like shape to create that initial bald guideline. And then above that guideline, I am using my clipper all the way open with no guard, making sure that I'm going up about a half to about an inch up, so that way I have enough space to be able to blend this guideline out. And then as you can see, I'm starting with the lever all the way closed, and then I'll go halfway, just playing with the lever, just making sure that I am being consistent with all of my clipper strokes. And then above that lever open guideline, I am going ahead and using my one guard completely open, going about a half an inch to about an inch high depending on my surface area. And then I am making sure that my clipper is all the way flat to the skin, so that way I'm getting all of those hairs to the desired length. And then to soften up this guideline, I'm going ahead with my one guard closed, and then to be able to make sure that all of the hairs are laid down completely, I am going ahead and using my one guard. I believe it's all the way, well actually that's the 1.5, but you can also use the one guard as well. But I'm using the 1.5 going up, and then I'll go ahead and close it just to blend out that bulk line you see that's above that one guard open guideline. So right here I'm using the raking method again to make sure that the hair is laid down completely. With this type of texture, it's really coily, it's curly, the hair goes all over the place. So to make sure it's just laid down so that way you can see what you're working with. So right here, to blend out this mid taper completely, I'm going ahead and using my clipper all the way open with no guard, and just using the corner of the clipper, so that way I'm just erasing that line that I created with the lever open and then the one guard open. So right here I'm just spot checking using my clipper all the way open. Sometimes I'll close it depending on where I am, if the hair is not cutting. Right here I'm just making sure that I'm listening to the clipper, and then also the hairs that are being cut, to make sure that I'm actually cutting hair and blending it out. So the same thing we did on the sides, I'm going to do it on the back of the head. One thing you also have to make sure with dealing with this type of texture of hair, you want to make sure you're always combing, because the hair just be going all over the place, and then you really don't see the blend as clear. Okay, to prep the hairline and make sure it lasts more than like 3 days, you want to make sure that you're trimming the front hairline, the sides, all that. So what I'm doing with my clipper all the way closed, I'm just doing some freehand trimming of the front of their hairline. And then sometimes I will go ahead and use the one guard closed or the 1.5, depending on the density of the hairline. So if you look at this hairline, it's not as dense, so I don't want to use a one guard closed super deep into that hairline. In this case, I think I did. I'm kind of doing this haircut tutorial live, but when we're using a one guard close on this type of canvas, you do want to make sure that you're only trimming the edges, because if you go too deep into the hair, it's going to make it look even less dense than it already is. So as you can see with the one guard close, I'm just going on over the edges of the hairline instead of going too deep and not making it look like a bald patch and then a whole bunch of hair on top. And then what this also does, this trimming of the hairline, it also helps me to be able to go a little bit more faster when I'm doing the hairline process. So at the back of the nape area, which is the back of the neck, I am making sure that I'm keeping the hairline as natural as possible, pulling the ear so that way I can create that curvature around the ear, not pressing too hard because this is a sensitive area. And then to separate yourself from other barbers, you do want to make sure that you're cutting every single hair that is on the border of this area. You don't want a client to go home and be like, dang, he missed these hairs, he missed all these hairs. No, pay attention, take your time, and get all of the hairs that are present on the border or at the border of the hairline. Doing the same thing on the other side, making sure that the hairs are all the way combed out so that way I can see what I need to trim. If you don't comb it, you don't really see what's going on, because this client goes home, washes his hair, and then all of the stragglies are over top of the hairline that you created. You want to make sure all of those things are combed out so that way it is still clean. Even if he gets in the pool or it starts to rain, just any scenario, you want to make sure it is as clean as possible. I already washed the hair before this, so I knew what I was working with. Actually, I think I did the blend and then I washed the hair. That is a good technique, because if you do the blend and then wash the hair, you'll see all of the imperfections in your blend. It just makes it even more prevalent. So right here, I am keeping the hairline as natural as possible, starting in the middle. Sometimes I go to the right, sometimes I go to the left. Just depends on how I'm feeling, to be real with y'all. And then make sure I'm keeping it as natural as possible. Every hairline is a pushback at the end of the day, but you want to make sure it's a professional pushback. Because I washed the hair before this, it is creating that natural ash line. My trimmers aren't doing a whole bunch of work, and my trimmers aren't getting stuck in the hairline, all this other stuff. It's clean. And as you can see, I'm going to the hairline and pulling away from it instead of pushing all of the hairs to the hairline. That's not doing nothing. That's not going to do anything but just make it look worse when he goes to wash his hair. So I'm going to the hairline and pulling away from it, not applying too much pressure, because I don't want to make his hairline have a whole bunch of blood marks and red marks. Nope. being consistent with all of my strokes, making sure that I'm not applying a whole bunch of pressure. Then right here to create the C cup, I create 2 points, one at the temple area and then one around the ear area, and then I will just go ahead and curve it and connect those 2 points. And then I'll do the same thing on the other side. And listen to this. I don't care what nobody say. Take your time before that haircut is as clean as possible. You have your allotted times, maybe a 20-minute barber or a 30-minute barber, 45-minute barber, or hour barber. You can stay within that time, but take your time. Don't let anybody rush your process. Okay, sometimes you'll have to, hurry up if a client is a little bit late, and then you have to pick up the next client at a certain time, but just take your time. So I'm going to apply some enhancements. This client didn't need any enhancements. I could have just threw the razor on it. It would have been even sharper, but this client, he likes enhancements. So what I'm doing right now, I'm using the barber pencil, being really light around the border of the hairline. And then I'll do 2 layers. First, I'll do the Temptation semi-permanent spray, black spray. And then over top of that, I will put hair fibers to make it look more natural. This part, you want to make sure it doesn't look fake. Be light with it. A little goes a long way. So again, I'm applying the pencil, and then I'll go use the Temptation black spray and then the hair fibers to create that more natural look. Then after that, I'll go over the hairline again and then make it even more cleaner with that razor. So go ahead and watch this. You just need to watch and observe. I think this is a part every client ain't gonna have the same hairline. Okay, so I'm keeping it at a distance, and then I'll go ahead and use my fibers. Just watch. Remember, y'all, I said be patient, okay? So right here, I'm going over the hairline, and then if I just oversprayed on the enhancements, I usually just comb it in, make sure it just looks natural. Because I already know after I go over this hairline with my trimmers, and then I go with that razor, it's gonna look clean. I didn't even need the barber pencil because I washed his hair. I already got that ash line. Now that I'm looking back at it, I really hate the barber pencil. Maybe it'll grow on me. But yeah, it's really simple. Just make sure you actually, the hairline beneath that, the natural hairline, make sure it's crispy, because enhancements aren't going to last that long unless they actually know how to take care of it. Most of the time they don't, because they don't know anything about barbering for real. I know how to do it. Like, I don't know how to maintain it because I'm a barber, but in most cases clients don't know how to maintain it on their own. So you just want to make sure that natural hairline looks as natural. Did I say highline? Natural hairline looks as crispy as possible before you actually go ahead and do the enhancements. And bear with me, y'all. I'm literally not editing any of this voiceover footage. I mean, some of it I probably did, but I don't feel like doing this again. And I did his haircut the time that I'm doing this voiceover. I did his haircut like a week ago, so I don't remember what steps I did to a certain degree. So I'm just watching it and just explaining it. So hopefully y'all understand what's going on. But look at this 45-degree angle with the razor. See what I'm saying? As soon as you apply that razor, it's like the hairline is just popping. That's a clean angle right there too. Look at that, 45-degree angle. So listen, y'all. This is like an uncomfortable thing for the client to like lean their neck back, I think, in certain situations. But my headrest just doesn't like work. It's broke. So I just have to tell them to lean their head back or lean their head back for them. I shouldn't be doing this, but it is what it is. You gotta do what you gotta do to get that crispy line. So right here is the detail phase. You want to separate yourself from the other barbers. You just want to be best. Like, let me not even say separate yourself from other barbers. You just want to be the best that you can be. You want to give the client the best haircut that you can possibly give them. So right here, I'm just detailing, do some detail. I'll go with my trimmers again. Make sure the hairline is crispy. Maybe I'll go with the razor. I'm just going over spots. This is my canvas. I want to try my best to make sure this is as clean as possible. Bam! Look at that. That's clean. Thank y'all for watching. Tune in to the next video.